First, they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they attack you, and then you win. Hello and welcome to My Bolt EUV. I am Jim, and today we're going from point A to point C. C is for confused. And today we're going to cover a few of the YouTube channels that are confused by the information they supply here on YouTube. And here's what I want to say before I begin. These people are not bad people. To give you a bit of analogy, they are like dentists operating in a world of neurologists. Yes, both are doctors, but if you need to have a tumor removed from your brain, I doubt you're going to go see a dentist. Now, would you? I know that I would not. And when it comes to electric cars and the electrification of the automotive space, these folks might know a bit about gasoline cars like a dentist knows about teeth, but they are completely lost when it comes to the world of electric vehicles, or what I like to call life in the smart lane. Dentists studied brains in college, but they don't work on them as their area of specialty. I'm an electric car enthusiast. Yes, that is true, but I'm also a bit of an electric vehicle expert at this point in time. I also understand the science behind climate change, something none of these channels that we talk about today have a clue about. In fact, 99.999% of the anti-EV influencers on YouTube are completely clueless about that aspect of EV ownership, or clean energy, or the environment. Like I told you last week, I will be naming names. And let's start out with one of the most egregious providers of false information about electric vehicles. Her name is Lauren Fix. Lauren Fix is the founder of the Car Coach and runs the channel on YouTube called Car Coach Reports. She is a nationally recognized automotive expert, which is laughable because she knows virtually zero about EVs. She's a sector analyst and a self-acclaimed journalist, a keynote speaker, and sometimes television host. Her YouTube channel says she is a trusted car expert and provides an insider's perspective on the wide range of automotive topics and aspects, energy, industry, consumer news, and safety issues. Her analysis is honest and straightforward, except none of that is true. 4 of her most recently provided stories on her channel are titled Supreme Court Drops Bombshell Ruling on Electric Vehicles. Are automakers making a huge mistake? Electric vehicles are going to get more expensive, and my favorite is electric cars are sitting unsold on dealers' lots. Here's the truth. That's the name of her latest 4 videos. Well, let's take a look at each of those videos in a little more detail. I'm going to provide a link to the videos in the description below because I do not fear letting you, the viewer, have a look at the other side, because the truth will always out. So the first story we're going to talk about is the Supreme Court drops a bombshell ruling on electric vehicles. The summary of that story reads, the Supreme Court's recent ruling on Chevron deference could affect federal regulations of everything from power plant emissions to electric vehicles to transmission lines. This ruling changes the mandate for the Green New Deal and electric vehicle mandates. This is a win for consumers to choose their own independence machines or vehicles. Now courts will have more say in interpreting rules on everything from the EPA's latest effort to curb power plant emissions to the Federal Energy Regulation Commission's orders. Except she's providing false information on at least 4 of the points she made in that summary. Number 1, it's not going to affect power plant emissions because those power plant emissions are already codified in law and cannot change. It does not change the mandate for the Green New Deal because there is no Green New Deal. That's just a lie. There are no electric vehicle mandates in law. Period. Again, another lie. And it is a win for consumers because now we as consumers can choose whether we want to drive an electric vehicle, a hybrid vehicle, or a gas-powered vehicle, and the courts and the government cannot interfere. And that is how the EV is going to win at the end of the day, because it is a better value for the consumer. The one thing I want to say about this story is, Lauren, your true colors are shining through. The courts don't have any say in regulatory practices. Those are defined by lawmakers, and the courts only get to make rulings based on laws that have been put into practice by our legislators. Ruling from the bench, as it is known, is not the job of the courts. And for somebody like you to celebrate that as a win is just ludicrous. Her next story was titled, "Are Automakers Making a Huge Mistake?" And then the summary goes on to say, here's why automakers are backtracking on their electric car game plans. Is backtracking a big mistake and allowing China to take the lead forever? Americans were never prepared to embrace electric vehicles at the rate predicted by many industry and government experts. You don't have a clue as to what Americans will embrace, Lauren. You have no clue. Given factual information, not something you seem to be keen on doing, the average American can make an informed choice, and when they know the truth about EVs, the lower total cost of ownership, cheaper to operate, more fun to drive, and better for the economy, they will, 90% of the time, choose an EV. And that is a proven fact. In her third story, it's titled, "Electric Vehicles Are Going to Get More Expensive." The title says everything. That is not correct. The prices are actually decreasing, and they have been ever since the advent of the electric vehicle. What is causing the problem with electric vehicles are the tariffs that were just imposed by the Biden administration. That's the truth. And the fourth story that really piqued my interest and made me laugh out loud when I watched it was electric cars sitting unsold on dealer lots. Here is the truth. She said there was a backlog of electric cars sitting on dealers' lots. Does she understand inventory? Apparently not. If Tesla were to stop manufacturing their vehicles today, they would sell completely out of their backlog in less than 20 days. But the fact of the matter is, the industry standard for backlog on dealership lots is 60 days, and as of the day of this video, it is running 72 days because ICE vehicle sales have slowed. But stating something as a fact like this is meaningless when someone like Lauren Fix is hell-bent on spreading misinformation and falsities about electric vehicles. So you see, Lauren Fix isn't out there telling you the truth. She's out there bloviating and spinning information to fit her narrative, and that narrative has nothing to do with the truth about EVs. I'm not saying she's an evil person, but she is a dentist operating in the field of neurology. She has no clue. Now let's move on to the second personality out there. And while he is not the worst personality out there, he does try. He's fun to watch. And again, he's not a bad guy. He's just another dentist trying to operate in the world of neurology. He is out of his league. And his name is Scotty Kilmer. However, he is still hyperbolic about his like or dislike for EVs. Take a look at the video in the description below. That video is titled, "The Media is Lying to You About Electric Cars. Here's the Truth." While some of what he said in his video is true, if you buy a used EV, you should get it checked out. But his hyperventilating about running a power cord for your EV and burning down your house is pure Texas-sized cow patties. Your gasoline or hybrid car is 100 to 300 times more likely to burn down your house than an EV. Scotty is a great entertainer, but he is not an EV expert by any stretch of the imagination. Again, he is simply operating out of his league. Now let's move on to the most egregious EV hater there is on all of YouTube. Uncle Tony's Garage. Uncle Tony is a Mopar hot rodder. I like Mopar and hot rods. I have nothing against them. But Uncle Tony's Garage absolutely hates EVs. Not only is he a dentist, He's a mean dentist who likes to perform brain surgery on his viewers with a hammer and chisel without any anesthesia. He should not be commenting on EVs because he is clearly clueless about them on many different levels. His sanctimonious, hyperbolic, sarcastic, hate-filled tirades about EVs are legendary in the YouTube community. But no matter how you spin his nonsense is, well, just completely false. Saying false things about something is the same thing as telling lies. He did say he was going to back down, but I have my doubts. Look at the video in the description below where he says, "Bashing electric cars, ? That's so childish and petty, ! Why we've let the juicy EV stories slide." In the video, he said, "Sure, we've talked about EVs bursting into flames, burning down houses and parking garages and giant ships, as well as trapping their owners, self-driving them to death, and then bankrupting the survivors and insurance companies with their absolutely insane repair costs, and on and on and on. But lately we've had a change of heart, for a few moments, at least. I'm going to adopt the attitude of we will see. But I can tell you that his festering, hate-filled, negative nanny, red-in-the-face tirades are not something that one might call, quote-unquote, informative. His channel is clearly aimed at a specific group of low-information viewers, the kind that drive jacked-up diesels and coal roll every Tesla they see because they have an IQ smaller than their shoe size. But I digress. His information regarding EVs, like those he quoted, is false. 100% provably false. When he talks about EVs bursting into flames, he is not telling you the truth. 25 out of 100,000 EVs will catch on fire in their lifetime. Compare that to 1,536 out of 100,000 gas cars, or even worse, 3,426 hybrid cars out of 100,000. And then he talks about them burning down a parking garage, and he's referring to the Luton Airport garage in England. And that has been proven to have started with a diesel vehicle, not an EV. And I can guarantee you that gas cars have burned down more houses than EVs ever have or ever will. I personally know 3 people who have lost some or all of their houses to their gasoline cars catching fire. Period. He talks about EVs self-driving themselves to death, then bankrupting the survivors. Again, the self-driving accidents occur at a rate less than 0.1% often as human drivers' accidents. This is just an inconvenient fact that is not reported in the news. And then he talks about the high repair costs of EVs. Well, my granddaughter just had an engine seize up in her 2016 Hyundai, a car that is less than 10 years old and had fewer than 125,000 miles on it. The cost to replace the engine with a used engine was well over $4,000, and it would have been a lot more for a new engine. And the car is simply not worth that much, and it's less than 10 years old. Honesty isn't something that seems to be in Uncle Tony's genes, and the best 2 words that I can use to describe Uncle Tony is hateful and vile, bless his heart. So as we close out this video, if you are the type of person who is comfortable in letting a dentist perform a neurological assessment or open your skull, by all means keep on watching the nonsense that's out there on YouTube. Unlike these channels, though, the ones that I've simply shown you today, I'm going to continue to provide you with correct and honest information. I am not going to denigrate anyone who supports driving an ICE vehicle, except the coal rollers. But at the same time, I'm not going to let anyone who denigrates or belittles EV ownership get in the way of the truth. In summary, Uncle Tony's Garage belittles EV owners across the board and makes fun of them from the position of his bully pulpit. He's a classic internet bully. Simply don't waste your time on his channel. Lauren Fix just likes to bloviate about things for which she has no clue. For her, it's simply about the clicks on her channel so she can continue getting money from the YouTube algorithms. And Scotty Kilmer is just an entertaining blowhard with no real clue about EVs or EV ownership. And all three I would classify as dentists working in a world of neurological surgeons. They are out of their league when it comes to knowing things about electric vehicles. Period. Well, that about wraps up this week. I just want to warn you to be careful out there. People on social media like to challenge you when it comes to EVs because they have no clue about the reason EVs are better. Simply point them to my channel or point them to another YouTube channel that provides factual information about EVs without hyperbole, without bloviating, and without all the false information. Please do remember to subscribe, share, comment, and like, and smash that notification bell too. Remember, unlike these three, treat everyone with kindness. Do put a smile on your face, help someone today, and pay it forward when someone does the same. I'll see you all again real soon or somewhere along the route from point A to point B, because this channel does not stop at point confused. See you later, everybody, and take it easy.